this is about how I edit a photo. So I took this photo yesterday, and yesterday, I believe it was the 17th, January 17th. And so you can see the photo's not quite level. Doesn't really have that punch to it. We got some vignetting going on here, and that's from the lens. So we're going to talk about that. So the first thing that I would do to this photo in Lightroom is, since I use the Voigtlander, is I need to come down here to lens correction. Most of the time in basic, you can just click this button and boom, it'll do the lens correction. But since the camera can't communicate with the lens electronically, it doesn't know what lens I used. So I've got to go to profile and I've got to apply it manually. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to tell it Voigtlander. Then I'm going to change it to the version 3 of the 15mm. And there we go. We got a pretty good looking photo without doing too much work. So what's the next thing we want to do? Well, the photo is turned, it's tilted. You know, it's kind of hard when you've got a road going up. You've got a building that's level, you get an optical illusion, at least I do. Maybe born with a slight tilt to my camera anyway, it turns out, on my sports photos, a couple degrees off. So I've got to work on that. But we've got some buttons here. We can hit level, it'll level it up. And you can see how level it is. We're hitting the crop tool, come up there, click and hold, and boy, that did not do a good job. It tried to go along with the sidewalk. Yeah, but the sidewalk isn't level. We got to use the roof line. So that's level. But we still have the problem of perspective, because I took the photo from the bottom, from the base of the courthouse at ground level. I get this, the building is turning in, so we got to use something different. So we're going to go to vertical and check that out. Oh, that looks so much better. So we got vertical. We want to check again. So vertical also will try to apply a level correction, and we just want to get that courthouse level. All right, there we go. Looks really good at this point. I'm going to scroll back up, and we can click auto. And I think that's too much exposure. It's 2/3 of a stop. Lightroom, horrible time getting that right. I think it needs some. That's not quite a third, so that'd be okay. And we've got these here, these sliders here, and I don't see anything wrong with the image. I like the image, so we're going to just leave it. So we got clarity. I really like clarity. And vibrance. Needs a, you know, couldn't hurt. But it's not needed. But there's a preset over here on the left. It's called Punch, and it does exactly that. It gives +30 clarity and +25 vibrance. And I like it. It's pretty good. Now there's a lot of other things we can do. We go into masking, but let's see, get some sharpening on that. So I'm simply on a Mac, I'm holding down the Option or Alt key. Anything white will have sharpening applied to it. Anything black will not. And you don't want sharpening in your clouds, because clouds don't have structure. At least these clouds do not, and it looks kind of weird. So just to give you an idea, we could sharpen it up. Wouldn't hurt. So I use the 71 setting there. Let me take it down. I mean, there's not really a lot of difference, but I'll just throw that in there. Well, I didn't do it on the original. Okay, but the last thing that's wrong is this guy. We gotta get me out of the photo, my shadow out of the photo. So there's not a good way to do it in Lightroom. So we're gonna go to Photoshop. Definitely not what I like to do, and most of the time I do not go into Photoshop, but we're gonna go ahead and go into Photoshop. And it's gonna bring in, it's gonna be as it's a TIFF file now, TIFF, TIF, depending. And we're gonna use the patch tool, which I like, and if you have problems finding it, it's right here under spot healing, brush tool. But I'm gonna come down here and I'm just gonna kind of draw around what I wanna take out. You'll notice I'm not taking out the full shadow, and there's a reason for that. And I currently have my patch on normal. You can also use content aware. Content aware is really good for stuff like rocks, stuff like that, but normal's gonna work here for what I wanna do. The reason why I did not do the whole shadow, because you get so close to the bottom and it wants to snap, or so close to the right, it wants to snap to it, and so you can't get that finite adjustment really and quick. So I'm just gonna work this in there, see what that looks like. It looks pretty good to me. I'll do Command D on a Mac, and so it got rid of most of my shadow there, but I left that there, and that's not going to be a problem. So we're going to close out Photoshop. We're going to save it. We're back in Lightroom, and you can see that I'm gone. That was easy. So what's the last thing I'm going to do? Well, I don't want a lot of road in my photo. And also, I don't want my perspective, so I'll unlock the perspective. I want my crop, what I'm going to call my crop perspective. I want my ratios to be whatever, custom. Oh, that's pretty good. Crop that there. So, that's it. If I don't go in Photoshop, it takes me 30 seconds or less. And if I go in Photoshop, it takes me about a minute. So now you know how this photo came about. Hopefully this will help you with your editing skills, and you'll get to know Lightroom and not be intimidated by it, or hopefully you learn something new. Thanks.